Here's a nade you can use to easily kill people through a mid-B smoke. And the lineup is really easy, just double-click throw at this angle. And here's another one. You can throw nades faster by pulling out your knife between throws. Just tap it quickly. And there's plenty more tips, but first I want to tell you about the online bootcamp I'm running with csgo Academy to help you become a better player. This is a 10-day course with tasks, accountability, feedback directly from me, and most importantly, other players with similar mindsets that you can network with and potentially play with in the future. Look, the reality is everything that you need to know about CS is out there on the web for free, but it's the learning that's the hard part. And the reason I agreed to run this bootcamp is specifically because they're proven to be more effective ways of learning, and YouTube can often have a bit of an information overload that makes it hard to truly improve. So I do genuinely recommend you check out the bootcamp, and worst case scenario, after a couple of days, if you didn't enjoy it, you can get a refund. You can silent drop off of the ledge outside of A ramp on Mirage. While crouching, you just move forward and then hold S once you get off the ledge. It's pretty glitchy, but it does work. And what else works is spamming through underpass on Inferno. Only in this area, but it does fairly solid damage. And there's quite a few angles on several maps, including half wall on Inferno and cold zero on Inferno, where if someone is hugging the wall, you can see blood when you spam it. Of course, cold zero is uncomfortably far to the left when you try and spam it, but if you get it, it's good. And right side window on a Mirage is also kind of uncomfortably far to the right as well. This is a really old angle that I think a lot of people have forgotten about, but especially with the scoped gun, it is pretty effective. Here's a way to jump across on a balcony without having to jump on top of the van first. It just might take a couple of tries. Or it might take 3 tries, specifically if you're me. But when you do land it, it doesn't make much noise, and it's very hard to deal with. This is an angle you may have seen before, but if you haven't, you can see someone coming out of bottom connector and shoot them for full damage through this gap in the mid boxes. Or you can shoot someone over top of triple boxes, really effective in a clutch situation. You hug this back wall and you peek over, and you might catch someone off guard. Now, once you buy a gun and no clip out of spawn, I want you to realize the upper area on A on Mirage is specific. And I know a lot of people know this, but a lot of people don't. If you're on this upper area, you can see people over boxes if they are also on the upper area, like default or over ticket very easily. But this is one you almost certainly didn't know. You can spam someone jail from on top of van, and in fact, it only takes 4 or 5 shots to get the kill. I've been told this is the jump that decides if you're a great player or not. So learn it and then tell that to your friends, and they'll all miss it like I did the first 20 times I tried it here. And I also missed this one, unfortunately, but you can silent jump to second oranges. Just tap S right before you land. Now, a less silent jump you might want to make is this one in Palace. You might take a shot and then you do this. And then you go back for the peak. And from their perspective, it sounds like you fell onto the bomb site. You may have noticed in pro games, B players often look up to the sky as they come to the bomb site. What they're looking for is utility, potentially an early heaven smoke, so they can know a B rush is coming a little bit earlier. Now, if you don't like this angle on Mirage, or you often lose this gunfight, you can instead play on this little ladder. It's not going to make you inaccurate at all, and you can catch them in an area where they think they've cleared you out, but they actually haven't. This is a play I call the csgo play on Mirage because I first saw it from Kenny S. And that smoke will put out any Molotov, then you have a chance to take a shot and get a kill, in theory, and get away safely. There's this little angle on Nuke you can actually bounce nades off of to throw them into hut. And actually right next to that angle is this little pipe you can drop down onto, and by the way, you can jump up from that back onto the ledge as well. This angle at the back of Squeaky you may have seen people play before, and it feels like you can be seen from upper, but in reality you actually can't until they're all the way deep in Squeaky, in which case you're kind of screwed. And here's a spam you can use B on Mirage to catch people coming up cat with almost full damage. The idea of a Xantarez peek, in my eyes, is a peek close to a corner so you overswing their crosshair and you really catch them off. And a great way to do it is to jiggle an angle. Once you spot them from a little far back, you think they're posted on you, that's when you swing out on them and get the kill. And this is where I tell you, if literal pro teams are willing to leave the bomb in spawn, please, in your pugs, you don't always have to have someone with the bomb. If you're doing something like a default where everyone is spread out, oftentimes it can be a liability to have someone with the bomb who could die and lose it. Sometimes just leave it. And here's a way to fast smoke jungle on the fly here on Mirage. Now, it's not perfect, there's often a gap, but it's better than nothing. I've talked a lot about left eye angles where they can't see your head almost at all, and here are the 3 most common ones. First, ramp on nuke. Again, can't see the head almost at all. Second is back plat on Dust 2. I think people call this the Stewie angle. It's not great against rifles or especially against an op, but on pistol round, it's incredibly difficult to deal with. And there's another one here, Ben Tet on Inferno, that you may have seen several times before. Very strong angle. There's a really weird mechanic that happens with ladders where you might want to drop down and attach right at the end, so you get down quickly without making noise. But the only way to make no noise is actually to be crouching when you attach. Otherwise, it makes that weird sound. For some reason, a lot of people don't seem to know what a God Flash is, so if you didn't, that's a God Flash, and here's a second flash you can throw in tandem that will blind people CT and sight as well. A play I've been doing a lot recently, if your opponents smoke Xbox, you can throw a smoke to connect that smoke and block off lower, then jump up onto Xbox and kill people running up cat. And it works really well as long as you don't whiff. Another smoke you can use on Dust 2 is this one way from back plat. It's not perfect, but it does give you a slight advantage. Another one way you can throw is this Nico one way that works in 3 different ways. You can use it to catch people running down mid, you can use it to get lower tunnels quickly, or you can boost behind it to kill people coming out top mid. Now, one of the things you might see is you get smoked off CT, and your response would be to jump on this box, jump up, and then jump around to kill people coming out mid. And yes, that does work, but there's a better way to do it that I only learned recently, where you get into the corner and just double jump up, and you don't have to jump around at all. Or you can jump onto the box from the other side to kill a CT if they're saving in spawn. If you think someone might be boosted CT on top of the box, you can actually jump, spot them, and then spam them through it. The correct way to cat boost is this. This is how you should be cat boosting in theory. The other way most people cat boost is a little bit less effective because you have to jump several times. It actually delays quite a bit. Now, breaking doors cannot be done even with the heaviest of guns, but it can be done with a Zeus or a knife. It really doesn't make much sense to me. Here's a little piece of CS etiquette. Crouch is the universal sign for give me a drop, please. And I got one. Unfortunately, he wouldn't give me my M4 back, though. Someone in matchmaking showed me this lineup to silent drop out of window. And the lineup is ridiculous. I'm sure someone will eventually improve it. But you can silent drop out of window. But this one doesn't need a better lineup. You can molly from lower tunnels. That's a shift walk throw that will get both sides of double doors every time. Hinge smoke, it's a hinge smoke, but there's a twist. The twist is it's on B. It's a hinge smoke on B. It's not perfect, but it's good for maybe holding a mid B push. Now the nip smoke on Mirage might be a little bit more versatile, because I've seen a ton of people using this recently, and you just one-way player's window. Of course, you would also throw a top mid smoke normally. Fun fact, the 10-second timer is not exactly 10 seconds, and it actually varies a decent amount from timer to timer. Here's an easy way to re-smoke Palace. You just aim near stairs there, jump throw off the wall, and it'll smoke off Palace. There's no particular lineup, you just have to practice it a bit. B-site on Inferno is weirdly one of the most spammable sites on any map. It doesn't look like it, but pretty much every box is spammable. In fact, this one, Dark Spot, you can even see someone's name through this little gap here. You can even spam through the barrels on First Oranges, and you can easily spam people top or bottom of Dark Spot through this part of the glass, and it's actually really easy to do. And here's a boost Austin really wants you to know. You keep telling me to put this in a video. Stop telling me to put this boost in a video. It's not good. Stop trying to make this boost happen.
I saw a clip.
I've used this before, and my old man eyes, man. I couldn't kill the guy.
I saw a guy he had a 300k view video of Manesi doing this in an FPL game and getting a kill.